Hello and welcome to TD's Pokemon Lair. I'm TD and this is the Lair, and today we're unboxing a box of 10 Pokemon cards I sent to Professional Sports Authenticator over a year ago. I just got them back in this nice little box, professionally packaged so they arrive safe and sound. Let's get them out of the box and see what grades I got. Alright, let's go. Let's look at a 1999 Pokemon game-based Charmeleon, the number 24 card of the set. Looking at the front of this card, you can see the graphics and surface are really clean. I don't see any issues there. Looking at our edges and our corners, I think they're nice and clean with no damage. Our centering from top to bottom and left to right, I think is within spec from all four directions. As we turn to the back of the card, you can see that our surface is really clean. Graphics look nice. Looking at our centering from top to bottom, I think it's within tolerance, and left to right is also within tolerance. Looking at our corners and our edges, the top edge has quite a few pieces of damage to it, along with the upper left corner. And we're going to get a grade of near mint 8. That's pretty good for a 20-year-old card. We're looking at a 1999 Pokemon game base Farfetch'd, the number 27 card. Looking at the front of this card, it looks pretty good at first glance. Our centering looks good from top to bottom and left to right. As we look at our surface and our graphics, they look really clean with no damage. Looking at our corners and our edges, the edges and corners look pretty good, except our upper left corner has a slight bend on the corner. Flipping the card over and looking at the back of it, you can see that the surface and graphics are clean. I don't see any problems there. Looking at our centering from left to right, it looks pretty good, and from top to bottom, I think it's within spec. Looking at our edges and our corners, our upper right corner has some damage, and the right edge and the left edge especially has some slight damage. And with that bend and the damage in the back, we got a grade of excellent, mint 6. Not that great, but okay. This is a 1999 Pokemon game-based Growlithe, the number 28 card. Looking at this Growlithe, you can see the surface and graphics are really clean. There's no dirt or grime or creases or bends. Looking at our edges and our corners, they don't look too bad. But looking at our centering from top to bottom, it's towards the top, and left to right, it's towards the right. Definitely out of spec for a 10. We'll have to look at the back. As we look at the back, you can see that our centering problem continues on the back. We have it being centered quite a bit to the left and quite a bit towards the top. Looking at our surface, it looks really clean. Our graphics are nice. Looking at our corners and our edges, they look pretty good, except the upper right has some slight damage. And that's going to give us a grade of near mint 7. Not too bad. I wish it had been better. I probably shouldn't have had graded a 1999 Pokemon game-based Ivysaur, the number 30 card. Looking at the front of this card, you can see, first glance it looks pretty good, but there is some slight edge damage on the two right corners, and basically halfway down the card on the left side there is a bend or crease. The centering looks pretty good. I think it's within tolerance. As we look to the back, our centering looks really good from top to bottom and left to right, and our corners and our edges are pretty good. There might be some slight damage on the two lower corners, but the big issue of this card is that on the right side, you can see at the back of the card, you can see that there's some damage at the center, starting of the crease. And that's going to give us a grade of very good, excellent, 4. With that major damage, I couldn't expect better. Check out this 1999 Pokemon game-based Jynx, the number 31 card of the set. Looking at this front of this card, the graphics and the front of the card look really great. Looking at our centering from left to right, it's towards the left, and from top to bottom, I think it's pretty good. Looking at our corners and our edges, I don't see any issues there. As we turn to the back of the card, you can see the surface looks really good. The only thing I can see on the graphics of the surface is on the upper right corner on the blue border, there's a white speck. As we talk about our borders and our edges, the lower right edge and the two lower corners both have some edge damage. Looking at our centering, I think it's good from all four sides. And we're going to get a grade of near mint 8. Pretty good for an old card. We are looking at a 1999 Pokemon game-based Kadabra, the number 32 card of the set. Looking at the front of this card, you can see it's really clean. I don't see any bends, breaks, dirt, or damage. Our centering from top to bottom, I think is within tolerance. From left to right, I think it's slightly towards the right. As we turn to our corners and our edges, I don't see any damage at all on those. As we turn this card over and look at the back, the surface looks pretty good. The graphics are nice and clean. Looking at our centering from top to bottom, I think it's pretty close to tolerance, but from left to right, it's towards the right. And as we look at our edges and our corners, all four corners and the lower and right edges both have some slight damage. And that's going to give us a grade of near mint 7. That's not too bad. I'm looking at a 1999 Pokemon game-based Machoke, the number 34 card of the set. Looking at the front of this card, you can see that the graphics look good. I don't see any dirt or damage. No problems there. Looking at our centering though, the centering is off towards the top quite a bit, and from left to right, it's slightly towards the left. Our corners and our edges, I think, are pretty clean. I don't think there's any damage. As we take a look at the back of the card, the first thing that jumps off the page or the card to me is the centering is quite a bit towards the top and definitely a little bit towards the right. As we look at our graphics though, they look really clean. Looking at our corners and our edges, the two top corners and all down that right side has some damage. We're going to get a grade of near mint 7. That's better than I thought I was going to get. Wow. We're looking at a 1999 Pokemon game-based Magikarp, a number 35 card. Looking at the front surface of this card, you can see it's really clean. The graphics look good. Our centering from top to bottom and left to right is towards the top and I think a little bit towards the right. Our corners and our edges look really good, except the upper right corner has a mar on it. As we turn the card over to the back of the card, you can see our centering issues continue on the back. It's quite a bit towards the left and towards the top. Our graphics though look really good. Our surface has no bends or damage. Looking at our edges and our corners, the upper left corner and I think the upper right corner have some slight damage. And we'll receive a grade of near mint 8. That's pretty darn good. Let's look at a 1999 Pokemon game-based Poliwhirl, the number 38 card of the set. Poliwhirl's front surface looks really clean. I don't see any bends, creases, or dirt. Looking at our centering from left to right, it's quite a bit towards the right. And from top to bottom, I think it's within tolerance. Our corners and our edges look really clean. As we take a look to the back of the card, you can see that the centering issue continues back here, with it being a little towards the left and slightly towards the top of the card. Looking at our surface though, it's really clean. Our graphics are nice. Our corners and our edges look pretty good, except both lower corners have some slight damage. And that's going to give us a grade of near mint 8. That's pretty good for that old card. This is a 1999 Pokemon game-based Porygon, the number 39 card. The front of this card looks really clean for being 20 years old. I don't see any dirt or damage, no creases or bends. Our centering from top to bottom is slightly towards the top, probably out of the 10 spec, and from left to right, I think that's pretty close to tolerance. Our corners and our edges are very clean. As I take a look at the back of the card, you can see that we have a centering issue on the back. It is definitely towards the top and towards the right. Looking at our surface though, it's really clean. The graphics and the Pokeball look great. Our edges and our corners, I think, are pretty clean with no damage that I can find. And our grade is going to be a near mint 8. The centering took us out. The rest of the cards look great. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe and like, and remember, gotta catch them all. Have a great day.